Hello, everyone. It is Thursday, August 14th, 2025. Happy first day. And for some of you, I think maybe second day of school. I hope everybody had a good first day or second day, whatever suits you. I am Annika Spalding, the Community Relations Director here at the Amarillo Little Theater. And this is Thursdays at 3, where I go live every single Thursday to get you caught up on what's happening this week at ALT. This season, Thursdays at 3 is very generously sponsored by our friends at Realty Central Services. Cindy Bulla is the owner and broker of Realty Central and a longtime supporter and champion of ALT. So this partnership really means a lot, especially to me. Realty Central is a women-owned, love that, full-service real estate brokerage, providing unparalleled customer service backed by decades of experience, industry service, and property rights advocacy. So if you're in need of real estate service and you love ALT, please consider heading over to amarillo.realestate and using Realty Central Services. So grateful to them for their sponsorship this season. Visiting hours are now open, and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest preview night is tonight. Finally, we are so excited about this show. This is a very highly anticipated show, kicking off our 98th season. This performance is currently sold out. The one tonight, actually, they're all sold out, but we're going to get to that. All the performances for both weekends are sold out, but call our box office. I'll go ahead and toss that number up here at 355-9991 to be added to our wait list, and we will give you a call if any tickets become available. You can also stop by the Adventure Space when the doors open at 7 p.m. this evening. If any tickets are turned in, we will let you know before the show begins that they're available for purchase. We also ask, pretty please, if you have purchased tickets to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and for some reason you know that you can't make the performance, oh, please turn those tickets back in. We have a wait list, like I said, of people really wanting to see this show. So if you wouldn't mind turning your tickets back in, it would really help our box office ladies, Joe and Lissa, who do an absolutely amazing job getting everybody in. And the seating is more limited than it normally is at the Adventure Space. You'll understand when you go in there. I don't want to spoil anything for any of you, but it's a little bit more limited seating than what you're used to in there. So if you are not going to be able to make the show that you made reservations for, please turn those tickets back in and contact our box office to do that. Turn those tickets in so that we can get those tickets to somebody else. I also want to talk to you a little bit about some of the theatrical considerations for Cuckoo's Nest. If you don't know already, this went out in an email, so check your email. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, as it says here, has left an indelible mark on literature, theater, and film. Boisterous, raw, and ultimately devastating, it plunges us into a world where conformity equals survival and standing out can be dangerous. Just know before you come in, there's going to be smoking, strobing effects, and self-harm language, things like that. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was originally produced in 1975 during a time when societal norms, behaviors, and language were vastly different from those we hold today. So please keep an open mind during the performance, and as always, suspend your disbelief. This show is rated 16 plus. Hear that? 16 plus, everybody. If you have any questions regarding any specific content, you can always feel free to call our box office. Joe and Lissa are happy to fill you in. If you don't care about spoilers, they will spoil this for you. They are willing to tell you whatever you need to know. We obviously don't want to put too much in our emails and copy that goes out into the public in case we don't want to spoil anything for anybody else. But whatever will make your experience more comfortable, if you are concerned about content, just call our box office and let them know, and they will help you because we want to make sure that you feel comfortable here at the theater. Always, we want our patrons to feel comfortable. My sweet friend Vanessa says, yay, it's Thursday. I'm so glad you're here, Vanessa. Thank you, as always, for watching Thursdays at 3. Heather Dillon, hey, girl. Hey, I'm so glad that you're here. And I'm so glad that you're helping me with, that one thing. I really appreciate you so much for that. And Hugh Fristoe is here. You guys are going to hear from him later. I get to chat with Hugh about his performance in the show, and I am so excited. Heather Dillon says it's an amazing show. Have you watched it already? Have you gotten to see it? No? Okay. Maybe you just know it? Okay. Gabe Sherman says, hello from London. Oh my gosh, Gabe, I'm so glad that you're here. He says, break all the legs tonight. It is late for you. Thank you for staying up late and watching Thursdays at 3. We love you, Gabe. I hope you guys are having a fantastic time. We are so proud of the cast of The Blind. Way to go, Jenny, Heather, and Gabe. We love you so much. And Hugh Fristoe says, cheerio, good job. Michelle, hello, Michelle. We're going to hear a little bit from Michelle a little bit later in the broadcast. I'm very excited about that. He says, we got you, Gabe. And Heather says, yeah, I got that thing. Don't worry. I'm excited. Perfect. Love that. Thank you guys so much for watching Thursdays at 3 and for commenting. I really, really appreciate your engagement today. Really appreciate it. We've got so much to talk about when it comes to ALT. Okay. We got a million things going on. Remember, this is very important for everybody to remember. This season, all evening shows will begin at 7:30 p.m. and not 8 p.m. So please keep in mind, if you purchase tickets this season, we have changed. Our matinees are all going to be the same. They're all still going to be at 2:30 p.m. But evening shows that were previously at 8 p.m., Thursday nights have always been at 7:30. Friday and Saturday nights have always been at 8 p.m. We are now moving them to 7:30 p.m., get everybody out of here a little bit earlier. So keep that in mind. But that also means that the house is going to open a little bit earlier than it normally does. For Cuckoo's Nest, the Adventure Space will open at 7 p.m. for the evening shows and 2:00 p.m. for the matinees. So keep that in mind. We also still need a few volunteers for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And I think I have that. Yes, Lissa sent that to me. This Saturday at 2:30, we need one usher. And Sunday at 2:30, we need one usher and 2 concessions. Everything else, though, is full. You guys are fantastic. We've even added performances to this production run. So we're very grateful to all of our volunteers who have jumped in and helped us with ushering and concessions. You guys are amazing. We're so, so happy that you guys do that for us. It is such a huge help. So if we could get one usher for this Saturday at 2:30 and one usher and 2 concessions for Sunday at 2:30, that would be absolutely fantastic. And while we're speaking about the Sunday matinee, this Sunday there will be a talk back immediately following the matinee. We love a talk back around here. And I guarantee you the talk back for this show is going to be particularly awesome. This is a totally free event. You just arrive at the theater around 4:45 would probably be a good time for you to get to the theater on Sunday, grab a free cup of Palace coffee, and hear the cast answer your burning questions. You can ask the director, the cast, any questions that you have about their process, about the story, and they'll give you a behind the scenes perspective of the show. These talkbacks are so cool. If you're just interested in knowing a little bit more about how we put a show together like this, especially a show like this that has so many different backstories and so many different layers to the plot. This show also has a fantastic set and lighting design that you'll probably have questions about. You can ask all of those questions to all of the appropriate people, and those parties will answer your questions. And it's just really cool. And you get Palace coffee. So cool way to meet some cool people and to talk about this art form that we all love so much. So ALT Talkback events are very, very generously sponsored by longtime ALT supporters, Kevin and Roxanne Ball. We love you, Kevin and Roxanne Ball, and we're so, so grateful for their support. So we have them to thank for our Talkback events. We also want to recognize ER on Sauncey. We love ER on Sauncey and Dr. Jerry Rose for sponsoring One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. ER on Sauncey has advertised in our playbill for years, and we are so, so excited that this partnership worked out. They will have a table set up, as you can see here, in the lobby of the Adventure Space throughout the run of the show with information on all they do. We love, love, love our community partners. Thank you so much, ER on Sauncey, and all of our community partners for keeping ALT thriving. And this is something I am so pumped to talk about today, okay? You got an email about this. If you've checked your email today, we're so excited about this campaign that just launched today. This is our Sponsor a Seat Committed to ALT campaign. We wanted to start this during Cuckoo's Nest because we have so many people who are committed to ALT, and Cuckoo's Nest happens to take place in a mental institution. So it's just perfect. Preserve your support for ALT's century-long tradition of storytelling by sponsoring a seat in the historic Alan Shankle's main stage, commemorated with a permanent plaque elegantly inscribed with your name or the name of a loved one, a lasting tribute to our 100-year legacy. We are getting closer and closer to our centennial year. I can't believe it. We're entering our 98th season, and this is going to be a really great way to claim your space in the Alan Shankle's main stage as we look forward to hopefully expanding and moving forward into the next 100 years. So if you have been a part of ALT, if you know ALT, if you love ALT, and you want to have a little permanent fixture with your name on it or a dedication to the memory of a loved one, please consider donating to our Committed to ALT campaign. There's more information about it here. As Amarillo Little Theater launches its thrilling 98th season with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, we invite you to be part of ALT's legacy through our Sponsor a Seat Committed to ALT campaign. Through this fundraising initiative, ALT will offer supporters the opportunity to sponsor a specific seat in the historic. It doesn't have to be a specific seat. If you have a specific seat in mind and you'd like to do that, you can choose a specific seat if it's available, if it hasn't already been claimed, or you can just say, I'd like to sponsor a seat, and we will choose that for you. But for $250, which is fully tax deductible for the seat sponsorship, you're going to receive your name or a dedication of your choice elegantly displayed on a plaque permanently affixed to your chosen seat, recognition on the ALT website as a valued supporter, and a commemorative letter personally signed by the ALT staff. All of that information, again, is in your email. There's no deadline. And this is a $250 per seat sponsorship, which can be drafted all at once. You can pay for it all at once, or if it's easier for you, we can auto draft 5 payments of $50 to make it a little bit easier and kind of spread that out a little bit for you. This is very important. Sponsoring a seat is a charitable contribution and does not reserve the seat for ticketed performances. So this isn't like your seat in perpetuity. You are not always guaranteed that seat, but we just felt like this was an exciting way to honor this beautiful historic main stage as we're looking forward to our next 100 years. So consider sponsoring a seat in the Alan Shingles main stage. If you go to our website, you're going to see something like this. This is a seating chart of our beautiful Alan Shingles main stage and all of the seats available. But yeah, we're very, 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 very excited about this. Well, I guess I am. I'm really pumped about it. I hope everybody else is too. Really, really cool. Oh, Mabry's here. Hi, Mabry. She says, how cool. I'm so glad that you're here. It's so good to chat with you. Oh, Terry. Hi, Terry. She says, we just got ours. What a legacy to be a part of. So grateful. Thank you so much for getting your seat. I'm so, so grateful that you already jumped in. I'm not surprised that the Martins already jumped in. Thank you so much. We're really pumped about this campaign. So exciting. Okay. And we've got more shows to talk about, believe it or not, because it's ALT and we always have a million things happening. So we're going to move on a little bit. Cuckoo's Nest may be opening this weekend, but as you know, there is always another show right around the corner. We are going to have a work call. I think I have that information up here, but maybe not. No, I don't think I do. We're going to have a work call for Frozen this Saturday at 10 a.m. at the Alan Shingles main stage. Like, there's a million things going on here. We've got the Frozen work call at 10 a.m. at the main stage. And then over at the Adventure Space, they're going to have 2 shows that day, a matinee and the evening show over at the Adventure Space. Wild. So we're going to have a work call here for Frozen on Saturday at 10 a.m. at the Alan Shingles main stage. And this is the work call to come to. If you would like to help build the Frozen set, please consider coming to this work call. We need all hands on deck. This is a huge show and it opens in 3 weeks. 3 weeks. So we need your help. If you are willing to dedicate even just an hour or 2 of your time, you don't have to stay all day. We would be so grateful if you would come and help us build the Frozen set. And please RSVP to our volunteer coordinator, Lissa, if you plan on staying for lunch. She'd like to get you on the lunch list. So go ahead and you can volunteer by emailing her or calling the box office, letting her know you're going to be there because we want to have an appropriate head count for lunch. Oh my gosh, please come to that work call. They're going to need all the help that they can get. So please consider doing that. And oh, this is so exciting. This is happening next week. Join us as we kick off our 98th season with our annual open house. This is going to be a great opportunity for Academy kids to have a meet and greet with their teachers. And we'll also have drinks and snacks for everybody. This is going to happen next Wednesday, August 20th from 5 to 6 p.m. in the Turk lobby over at the main stage. Really excited about that. And we just like to see you guys. You know, we just see you in context, like in rehearsals of a show, or if we just happen to see you when you come to the theater to see a show. But this is just a little more casual and cool to see everybody all in one place and just kind of a relaxed atmosphere and kind of kick the season off. So if you'd consider coming to that, we'd love to have you. And of course, we'll feed you. We love to do that as well. Okay, let's talk about our Academy schedule. I think I have that information. Yeah, here it is. As many of you know, our Academy fall schedule is live on our website and registration began this week. Check that out and make sure to get registered if you haven't already. Our classes do fill up pretty quickly. And remember, in order to be eligible to audition for Academy shows, you have to be enrolled in an Academy class. So if you have a child who wants to audition for Junie B. Jones or for Prince of Egypt, make sure they're enrolled in an academy class, because that is what makes them eligible to audition. And please consider joining our producer circle. This group of generous individuals and businesses have made a funding commitment of $500 annually for a 3-year period. Producer circle members will receive special recognition in the playbill, exclusive invitations to various events throughout the season. There's a really good one for Frozen. You're going to get that information probably this weekend or early next week, maybe even sooner than that. So join our producer circle so you can come to events like that. Little sneak previews of shows and things like that that are really exciting. You also get to make your reservations a week before the general public, which for shows like Cuckoo's Nest that sold out in like 2 days, it's a big perk. That's a really big perk. Also, a big perk for Cuckoo's Nest, ability to reserve your seats at the Adventure Space. Adventure Space is open seating unless you're a producer circle member, and then you get to choose your seats, which is really cool. So you don't have to arrive extra early and wait in line before the house opens to make sure you get the seat that you want. Very, very great perk. You also get to reserve your concessions before the show begins. So if you want to join our producer circle, go ahead and call our box office. You can pay that $500 annually, or you can have it auto drafted. That it comes out to about $42 a month if you have it auto drafted, and that's a 3-year commitment. My nose is so itchy, so sorry. These funds are really, really beneficial to the operation of ALT. So if you'd consider joining our producer circle, we'd be very grateful. And we'll also list you on our website so you get public recognition. I know that's important to a lot of people. So you're going to get lots of public recognition, and you get handwritten thank you notes from me. You're welcome. I know that's what everybody wants that. Hugh Fristoe says the producer circle event for Waitress was fantastic. It was so much fun. And Jason and I are putting our heads together to come up with really cool events for this season too, because we've got such an amazing season of shows. We want to make sure that we have really cool events to coincide with those. So, all right, let's keep going with our volunteer of the week. All right, congratulations to Velvet Knight. Velvet has been a huge help painting the Frozen drop, and I have been lucky enough to get to see her multiple times upstairs as she gathers props for the show. Congratulations, Velvet. We're so grateful for you. Her daughter Sterling is playing Anna in Frozen, and I am so excited to see her performance. I cannot wait. Congratulations, Velvet. It's been so nice to chat with you this week. Okay, we're going to skip Breaking Broadway News today because I have a whole lot to get to with my guests. But first, I got a shout out video today from a cast member of Cuckoo's Nest that I would really like to share with everyone. So you're welcome in advance.
Hello, ALT. My name is Michelle Johnson. I play A. Turkle in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I just want to get on here and give a shout out to all the ALT members and fans for purchasing their tickets for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Sold out show, sold out tickets. Man, this is a blessing. I just want to get on here and give a shout out to Stephen Crandall. You have been a great director to all of us and making sure we have our right thing to get down for tonight. I just want to say thank you to Hugh Fristoe, the main character, R.P. McMurphy. I just want to give a good shout out to all my castmates. Thank y'all, and enjoy One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest tonight. Thank you.
I mean, come on. I love you, Michelle. Thank you so much for sending that video. I'm so, so glad that you're in Cuckoo's Nest. I can't wait to see you in the show. You have been so vocal about it on your social media page, and I'm so grateful that you are pumping up ALT like that. We love volunteers like that, and I'm so grateful that you're doing it. So glad you're a part of the ALT family, and thank you so much for sending me that. I just love it. Okay, I'm going to bring on my special guest now because we've got a lot to get to, so please welcome the director for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Stephen Crandall, and one of the stars of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Hugh Fristoe. Hello, my friends.
Hi, Annika. Hi, ALT.
I'm so grateful that you guys are joining me today. I know how hectic this week has been, and just even giving an hour of your time is a very big deal. So I'm very grateful. I would really love to start by asking you guys a little bit. I was talking with Patrick and Joanna last week about their daytime identities versus their nighttime ALT identities. Stephen, can you tell us a little bit about what you do and how you first got involved at ALT?
Sure. I teach at WT. I am starting my 16th year as a professor in the theater program. And so during the summer, I'm finally a little bit free after a long sort of stint in administration and working with Texas Outdoor Musical. So this summer, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest became an opportunity that I wouldn't have ordinarily had to be a part of. I started doing shows at ALT in 1999. And did a number of shows until I moved away for about 7 years, and then came back and started kind of getting back involved, more so as a director, and but also getting on stage, hopefully here and then. So
awesome. What about you, Hugh?
Yeah, so I work for Lowe's corporate most times. So I'm a sales trainer. I do virtual training a lot, but they also send me into different locations to do in-person sales training workshops. But most days I get to wear like a nice button-down shirt and then sweatpants. I have to put on real pants and shorts to come out to ALT rehearsals. So every time I sign up for a show, that means, all right, I gotta get actual pants on that day. But most days, if you see me walking out to my mailbox, it's in a nice button down, sometimes with a bow tie and sweatpants.
I love it. Hugh, can you tell us a little bit about who you play in the show? And
Sure.
For those who don't know, what One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is about?
Sure. So I play Randall P. McMurphy. He is a new presence in this mental asylum, right? It's a Oregon State mental hospital. And 60s, 70s is kind of when the book and then movies were set. And this ward is kind of run pretty strictly. You've got a presence in Nurse Ratched, who we saw last week on Thursdays at 3, and Joanna, who is, kind of an authoritarian, strong-armed. She manages the ward effectively, efficiently. Both the staff and the patients know exactly what they should be doing. And when R.P. McMurphy steps in, he doesn't know any of those rules, but he's ready to break all of them. And so he comes in with some dynamicism, some enthusiasm, and a bit of recklessness that the ward isn't used to seeing. And it has a pretty profound impact, I think, on all of those patients, the staff, who all tend to kind of change a bit because of that presence. So that's the character I play in terms of the overall story. It's about that man coming in and changing this environment entirely and sort of opening up some of the patients to ideas, philosophies, beliefs that maybe they didn't think were possible anymore. Won't give anything away, of course, but generally the book is told from a specific perspective that is not R.P. McMurphy. And it's that perspective, I think, that's most important in the play as well, in terms of what you see, what you hear, what you learn as an audience member, and who closes that show out.
That is such a great, concise wrap up of the show. I really appreciate that, Hugh. Before Stephen, I have a question for you, but before I do, I want to get to a couple comments. Aspen Yunker says, "Oh, Michelle, can't wait to see it Saturday afternoon." And Vanessa says, "Michelle is the absolute best." Love that. Stephen, as a WT professor, you could, I know you typically don't and haven't because of other reasons, but you could take the summer entirely off. What was it about this show that appealed to you to direct?
It's a great script. I mean, I think that's probably number one. It's a play that I'm familiar with. I performed in the play when I was in college as Dale Harding, and Leanne, my wife, played Nurse Ratched. And so we have a fondness for the play, given our experience with it, 20 plus years ago. And I think, always an opportunity to be involved at ALT is something that I value and I cherish. And so in talking with Jason about, possibilities for me to direct, which my schedule at WT will periodically afford, this play really kind of rose to the top simply because it's just something that really speaks to me in regards to how it depicts humanity and how it entertains and tells a really fascinating, compelling story. So, I'm thrilled to be a part of something at ALT in the summer. I've not generally done that, And it's kind of afforded me some clarity that I might ordinarily not have if I were directing a show during the academic year. So it's been really great.
Is there a particular message that the show offers that you feel like will resonate with our audiences?
We've talked a lot about different themes, but I think probably the one that really stands out to me is the concept of conformity, and also the tendency that we certainly seem to have in today's society to other people, that concept of othering and sort of comparing yourself or considering someone less than for whatever reason. And so I think there's that important element, and just probably finally the concept of mental health, I think, is something that is so critically important right now. Awareness of mental health, awareness of the challenges that people are facing, and this, of course, is depicting them in a very dramatic and kind of a period way. But I still think that there's a lot that resonates in regards to people's mental health and how we can support, but also how we can, harm people, and kind of prevent people from seeking or getting the help they need. So, yeah.
There is so much to unpack with that. And if we had 5 hours, I would definitely do that. Michelle says,
we need to go to the ALT podcast where you can just do the long form interview.
Yeah, there you go.
Form content, and then we won't have this problem. Exactly. Michelle says, Stephen is the best. McMurphy, I need my whiskey.
Michelle, we love you, man. You are so great to work with. We're so glad you're a part of this company and this cast.
Yeah, so much energy that's brought to this role, right? I mean, if you're watching auditions and thinking about the character that he plays, it would be very easy to just say, oh, well, I've only got X number of lines or whatever. But man, he makes the most of absolutely every experience that he has on stage. The moments that he has on stage are big, entertaining moments. And so he does a really good job of just building out this backstory and this character in a way that is, again, unlike anything you've seen probably at the adventure space in a while.
Well, and I am particularly grateful, as I mentioned earlier, to him for being all over social media promoting the show. I mean, he has been the biggest, greatest megaphone for ALT out there, being a cast member in the show, being a part of it, and pumping people up about it. I just love it. And I want to thank you again, Michelle, for sending that video. It was so great. Andrew Hawkins says, Stephen is so great to work with. This cast is so amazing with all the little details they bring to their characters.
Been great working with Andrew. Really great.
Yeah. It's one of those shows that I think you should be watching like 3 or 4 times and focusing on a different patient or part of the stage each time. Unfortunately, it's all sold out. So if you didn't buy 4 tickets in advance, it's going to be tough for you to see it again. But I do it. I mean, I think the way that they've staged it, right? So the set design, everything that's going on with how Stephen has kind of planned the staging, it's going to change depending on where you sit. Like your experience is going to be different depending on where you sit. And so it's exciting. Again, very looking forward to having that audience tonight.
I'm so excited for you guys to get that feedback from people who haven't seen it. It's going to be so exciting. Hugh, you are known around ALT as friendly, as talkative, as a personality. What was it about? Was there something about McMurphy that appealed to you that made you want to audition for that particular character?
Yeah, good question. I'll be real honest. I wasn't auditioning for that character, right? So I just wanted to be a part of this show. I wanted to work with Stephen. I thought, man, this is going to be one of those casts that just has the best time in rehearsals, going through the process and putting this show on. And so, yes, I put McMurphy at the top of the list and a couple other names. And then when we got in there and we're reading and got into callbacks, I was like, oh, that's a possibility, right? And so, but absolutely, it's an iconic character. It's one of those, catalysts for change that you see in those iconic stories. And it's one of those characters that there is a bit of controversy over, right? Is he a purely good guy? Is he a purely bad guy? Is he a force of evil? Is he a force of good? And what are the effects of what he does in that moment, right? What are his motivations? All of those things absolutely grabbed at me. But I didn't think for a minute, hey, this is going to be what I set out to do. So I was, again, shocked, humbled, grateful whenever that cast list came out, and more so when we've all just been working together, right? There's been so much support from Stephen, but from the rest of the cast, from the entire crew, the production crew. It's just been so great to be a part of it. You really feel, I've heard a couple people saying, one of the stars or the lead or the star.
Yeah.
And sure, that's fine. But this is a cast that is magical. And
Yes.
I think to myself, when I'm on stage, man, if they're watching me, they're missing out, because there's just so much terrific work happening. Right. And I've got a heavy line load, but it's like they're doing so much without that. And gosh, you better pay attention is all I would tell you. Not just to me, not just to the lines, but to all of the action on stage. There's just so many stories there that aren't in the text. And I just love that I get to be a part of it.
There's nothing quite like working with a cohesive ensemble with a project like this. It's really, really exciting. Stephen, directing, acting, teaching, these are your passions and what you do for a living. I would love to know what it's like for you to go from teaching and directing students who plan to go into theater professionally to carry those skills over to people who are trying to learn something new and do this as a hobby and something to learn more about. Do you alter your approach when you come to ALT to direct, or is your approach similar to how you direct your students?
I think I inevitably alter some just because of kind of the nature of the volunteers that are coming, to rehearsal after working a day. There's a lot that goes into respecting the time and the amount of effort that's put in. But in the same token, I feel like I kind of do approach things similarly, because I really strive to really be responsible for good storytelling and to really hopefully support the actors with really good guidance, good coaching, good moment to moment kind of support and help and character development. But inevitably it is different simply, because of life experience and so on. It's really great to work with an ensemble at ALT that is so diverse and so unique and mostly adult. All adult in this show, but I'm just saying, like, in general,
right.
Like working with people that have lived some life and have a lot to draw from. And I enjoy helping actors draw on things that they've experienced or that they've witnessed or things of that sort. I said last night, even after our final dress, that the reward for me is the process. I absolutely love the moment when the audience steps in, because that is the final big payoff for the actors. But for me, it's the process, and I enjoy helping kind of shape over a span of time that sometimes can feel like it's going on and on and on forever. But we get to a place where it's really working, and that has really happened. Obviously, this week and throughout. It's just been a great group of people to work with, and I feel blessed.
I think there's a lot of teaching there that comes from Stephen too. Still, like that, he doesn't take that hat all the way off. Like a lot of his direction, right? A lot of the coaching, a lot of the direction comes in the form of questions, right? So he's asking you to consider, to think about, to introspect in a way that is challenging and really makes you it puts you at the center of that decision, right? At the center of what that actor's choices are and why. And so it's not him saying you've got to do X. It's him asking, why are we doing Y? And what could happen if we did something different or thought about things different? And so it's been a really, again, challenging process, but definitely one where you felt like, man, it's when you're watching him do other things, like some of the fight choreography, it's just like, wow, this is a master class, right? This is someone that knows kind of what they're doing, right, in a way that is unique, that's helpful. Certainly for someone who's just kind of understanding some gangly body mechanics, right? Trying to figure out what I'm doing with myself.
Well, let
you in the right space.
I'll add, like, Hugh, the great thing about Hugh has been how willing and how available and open and like, man, it has been such a great experience to work with somebody like Hugh, who brings in a lot of experience, but also is completely open to exploring and discovering and finding some new things. And it's been, I can't wait for people to see Hugh's performance. It's really transformational. So, yeah.
Thanks.
Hugh, you triggered a memory for me because it's been a minute since I've gotten to work with Stephen in a director-actor capacity. That was 2014. Wow.
Y'all were 12. When y'all were 12 and 13. You were both
right. Yeah. But that is absolutely true about, let's just talk about Stephen like he's not here.
Right.
About Stephen's directing style is that I've as soon as you said that, I remembered how curious he is as a director, where you can run into situations where if someone's in a directorial position, they have an idea. I mean, every director has an idea of what the vision of the show is and what the actors are going to do. Yeah. But what I love about your directing style, Stephen, is that you get curious and you do ask these questions where you're waiting for a response to gauge how you can direct this particular actor's vision of how that role goes for them with what they're capable of bringing to the table, and then guide it that way instead of guiding them toward your specific vision of what you see. And I think that is crucial. I think that is such a crucial aspect of your directing style, especially when it comes to greener actors. That gives them a little bit more autonomy and a little bit more say-so over how they're going to develop their own character, and then have your guidance in those ways once you've heard what they're going to bring to the table and how they're sort of envisioning their character.
Yeah.
It is really a beautiful way of directing that as soon as you said that, Hugh, I was like having these memories of last 5 years where it's like, oh my gosh, I remember that too.
There's great agency there, right? So he gives you this great agency, but support as you're going through it. And so, and I mean, all of my experiences at ALT have been very similar in terms of having some agency and discretion, feeling supported. But like you said, that curiosity, it's genuine. It's coming from a genuine place, and he really wants to explore with you on some of these kind of the machinations behind the eyes, what's getting us there. And so I just love being a part of that for sure.
Well, thank you both for flattering me, as you just said. I'll just add that it's the partnership that I think is so fulfilling. And I think a lot of that comes from just my own experience in my own acting, kind of world and training and just the time that I've been able to spend in that world. But that's the fun part. I do think it's the creativity that really does involve an outside eye and an inside eye. And that to me is what makes what we do so rewarding and so fulfilling as an art, as an art form.
Well, and when acting is such a vulnerable experience, especially for someone who is new to it. And so then to be guided by someone who isn't, preying on the vulnerability isn't the appropriate term, but actually taking that vulnerability and nurturing it and asking questions to figure out where this person is coming from and what it is that because there's something about that person that clearly you saw in casting that was like, there's something here that we've got to explore. And then taking that a little bit further once you get their vision for the character. I just love it. And I think it's so conducive to a positive environment for newer actors to feel that sense of safety in I don't have to have it all figured out. I just have to have some questions and some ideas. And then this person who does know more of what they're doing is going to guide me through, where then you've got that agency, like you were talking about, Hugh, over the character that you were cast in. Vanessa Hill says, obviously, I love Hugh in anything. Excited to see him knock it out of the park. But when do you sleep, Hugh?
Yeah, not much. We were talking before the show. Very, very late at night, and then up early in the morning. Not enough. That's the one thing my watch always tells me. I'm closing my rings. I'm doing great work on the Peloton, but it's like, hey, maybe sleep more than 4 hours. You're way behind.
Yeah. Maybe next week you can catch up.
It's fine. Yeah, we won't have rehearsals as often, but
have a little more
tech
time.
Week's not the time for sleep.
Yeah, no, it's not, for sure not.
Time for coffee.
And I'm stealing the time you could potentially be sleeping right now. So thank you for that.
We're good.
Megan Gaitan says, we happen to be big fans of Hugh's as well. Can't wait to see you in this. Break a leg.
We love the Gaitans. I did tell Megan, hey, maybe don't bring the boys to this one, right? Love Colin, love Jax, but you got to keep them at home for this one. This is that 16 and up for a reason. So
3 more weeks and then Frozen. We're all
right.
good.
That's right. We'll all see them at Frozen.
Hugh, I want to talk a little bit about the subject matter of the show, because it explores some darker themes. What is it like for you to go home at the end of the night? And Stephen, you too.
It's a good question. I am a champion compartmentalizer. I told Joanna this at the beginning, right? So everything, when you check into your characters, you check in for different things at the theater. When I check out, right? So it's fine. All of that is still there when I come back the next day. But it is just some part of you. Now you have to kind of pull things from yourself to get into it. And so I definitely recognize that there are parts of this character that are 100% something that I feel or have said or have thought. And so that helps you to connect, right? Because there's empathy there. As Stephen talked earlier about the othering of people, it's a lot better to start including those people as much more similar to you than different, right? These thoughts, these ideas, these feelings, the challenges, all of those are things that I have faced in some capacity or another. And so I don't think so much about bringing it with me or leaving it behind, or it's a thing that you do for a bit. It's a great outlet for some of that expression. Yes, I don't get to choke anyone at home, right? I don't want to, but I also don't get to. And so, there are these things that you do that are a little different, that again are an outlet. It's like, oh, that's an interesting feeling. But funny story I'll tell you about Caitlin and some of that choreography, probably offline. Once we just don't want to spoil is all. But it's some good stuff. Good stuff.
Okay. Stephen, what about you? I mean, you've seen this show God knows how many times, and it's heavy.
It is. I mean, I'm probably kind of like you, really pretty good at compartmentalizing, and of course, I think I'm accustomed to, like sort of separating parts of myself when I'm in a heavy kind of dramatic material and being able to kind of leave it at the door. Not everyone is great at that or successful. And so it is important to kind of be supportive of those that might need a little bit more time to kind of step in and out. But I will say this cast has been pretty strong in regards to the material and has navigated it with a lot of grace and a lot of humor and a lot of, like we've found ways, I think, as a group to work through it nightly and not let it bog us down. It's a very complicated play, and there's a lot of moving parts that we have had to figure out, and in the adventure space, man, it is just challenging to get all of the things happening and working in the way that they need to in an intimate way. But it is, it's been good. And I'm very, proud of everyone that's been a part of it, because I think they've found ways to make it manageable. But it's heavy, and there are some difficult moments, very challenging moments that I think the audience will recognize and be challenged by. But I think, again, the idea here is that it motivates conversation and thought and consideration of ideas and things that we might not ordinarily consider. And I think that makes us better as people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great points. Stephen, I would really love to chat with you about the set for the show. Noah, Brandon, and Michael have worked really hard to create tirelessly, yes, to create essentially a day room at a mental hospital in the 60s. I was blown away. I talked about this last week when I walked into the adventure space last week and saw it for the first time. And Noah happened to walk in exactly at the same time as me. So he was like, wait out here, let me get the lights on, let me get it just right. And so I kind of got the full experience when I walked in, which was so cool. And of course, Noah was so passionate about everything he was showing me little tiny details and telling me exactly how many tiles they cut out individually. I mean, it was so great. I felt so special to get that little tour. Can you share that process with us about how the ideas for the set came about?
Yeah, I mean, when I sort of signed on to direct and really started thinking about the play in the adventure space, it came to my mind that this was the best way to tell the story, because it allows the audience to be right almost in the action, but also just right outside of it, and also to have a truly like realistic vantage point that is, almost a fly on the wall kind of perspective. And with this kind of story and the challenge of trying to depict an environment that not many people ever get to see, I would argue that most people don't ever want to see this kind of environment, right? So it just felt like we needed something that would give that experience, that very immersive, very close up, but also slightly removed kind of experience. And so that's why we created the configuration we did. And I've used that before in a couple of other plays, and it's just a very exciting experience. I have not experienced quite the level of intrigue as I have sitting in a theater with a configuration like this. And so I'm excited about that. The set, I will say, the Noah and the guys, everybody that's been involved in painting and building and adding detail, it has been a truly team effort, but the amount of detail and the clarity and the creativity, the color, everything about it to me is just so dynamic. And I'm excited for audiences to get to walk in and sort of have that, kind of moment, because I think they all will.
They will for sure. When you were talking, did you guys ever have to make dioramas as a kid?
Yeah. Yes.
It makes me feel like how you would just kind of look down at the diorama and like you almost feel like you could jump. It's like a life-size diorama where you're just outside, but it's like you can fully see everything that's happening, but you're not totally immersed in it. Very, very cool.
It's such a great experience. And Stephen and the production crew right there sitting in different seats every night, every scene right there, looking at all of these vantage points. So it takes more work, I think, in planning for your blocking, covering, all of those sorts of things to make sure that, these seats are still capturing what they need to capture. And so it's just been, again, something so unique, I think. Again, I know that the Adventure Space has done this sort of staging in previous productions years ago, but it's never something I've seen. And I'm again, you're going to be in some of these audience members' laps in a couple of these scenes, and so you're right there. Talk about a night at the theater. You're going to be a night on stage for some of these folks. And so I'm excited to welcome them in.
Yeah.
Well, and talk to me a little bit about Noah Lang's lighting design, because I've heard wonderful things about it, but I can't speak to it since I haven't seen it. What does good lighting design add to a show? Why is it so important?
I mean, it is one of the most important emotional and thematic layers. I think it helps audiences feel. It helps them experience like reality. It helps trigger, changes in perspective. And so it's very important. And Noah has done a tremendous job of helping the audience kind of shift into and out of the reality of the day room and the ward into something else. And that's the surprise that hopefully the audience will appreciate right off the bat, is we have moments in the play where we are transported to somebody else's mind, really. And I'm sure people that know the novel will know who that is. But I don't want to give it away. But it is so cool the way they've created that opportunity with very clever painting and use of light. And it's going to be really cool, I think, for an audience.
So exciting. I also have to mention Leanne Crandall's costume design for this show. Everyone looks amazing. Here is a cast photo that we just put out. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Hugh, how does your character change once the costume designer puts you in your costume, generally speaking, and then of course with this specific show?
Yeah, it's awesome to work with Leanne again. We just worked with her in Dreamgirls, which was a dream. I asked her, I pled with her. I said, please let me wear that suit that I wore in Dreamgirls one more time. It didn't really fit the character, but when you get McMurphy's arrival outfit, right, that fit when he comes in the first time, you're like, okay, all right, I know who this guy is. But it adds to it, right? Because when you walk in and you are to the nines, or kind of in that fit of the day and looking pretty sharp, and then you get into this next look, it kind of sets in, right? Some of that affects how that character's kind of moving through the space at that point. But absolutely, it was that last piece. We just added it this last week, in fact, where you started to look like the people that you were being. So some of the big scenes that I have involve costume differences, and so it was good to finally see what that was and kind of have that spring from her head, from Stephen's head, and something that I could wear. It was awesome because Stephen and Leanne both kind of let me add a bit to it or change a bit of things here and there, just as I saw maybe the character kind of moving through that space. And again, it's that last piece was the tech, the lights, and the costumes, and now you're ready to roll. It's been in those dressing rooms last night. We were saying, man, we want an audience tonight, right? So like, let's put some people in those seats tonight. And so tonight is that night now.
Yes.
We had to wait 24 hours more, but we are absolutely stoked for everyone else to come and see this brilliant costume design, the lighting design, that set, and everything that we're putting on that stage with them.
Man, it's an electric feeling, that preview night, just like opening night. It is so electric when you've gone so long without an audience, or with an audience of people who have been with you the whole time and have seen it again and again. It's so nice to get fresh eyes and ears on things. I spoke about this a little bit with Patrick and Joanna last week, but I want to ask you guys the same thing. I was talking to them about how when I'm doing a show, I always, in some capacity, learn something about myself during the rehearsal process. I either learn something new about how I approach a character, how I learn, or learning things that I need to improve on as a human, as an actor. There is some level of learning. If you're doing it right, in my opinion, you are open to learning something new, or the character itself can teach me something about, I see how this character is moving through the world, and I think like, oh, well, they kind of got it figured out in that capacity. Have either of you learned something about yourselves during the process of rehearsing the show?
Definitely. I don't know if I could immediately voice what, probably more than I could mention. I think I don't know. There's something about this process that has taught me patience. I don't know why that comes to my mind. Like I feel like I've experienced moments where I've been able to sit back and allow things to kind of percolate in ways that maybe previously as a director I would have stressed more about. And I think some of that comes down to like the actors and the people that I'm working with and the people that the production team that are supporting me. I feel like it's been a really more collaborative effort with this show. It has not just been me guiding, and that's been really great. So patience, I think.
Yeah.
And for me, I mean, there have been a ton of technical things that I've learned, right? Just processes, body mechanics, staging fights, intimacy ideas, different things about how you tell a story in a space that's much tighter, right? So all of my productions prior with ALT have been at the main stage. So this is the first time I'm at the adventure space on stage. And so just kind of learning some of those technical things has been interesting. But, you know, philosophically, there are some things you pull from this story, not just the character, but you know, kind of how to find joy in those moments where it doesn't seem all that joyful, right? Because you've got people, you've got opportunities to connect in a way that you maybe weren't thinking was a good thing before, because you're in this dreary, dark place that, you know, kind of is where you've been resigned to dwell. When something new happens, when there's an opportunity to kind of step outside of your routine, there's some joy there at times. And, you know, sometimes that joy precedes a fall, but sometimes it just involves a goofy game of basketball. And so that's some fun times there that we have. But it's been, again, a great experience overall.
I'm so glad to hear that. What would you both say is the importance of having a place like ALT in a town like Amarillo?
I would say I can't imagine not having a creative space like ALT in this community. I think given where we're located and how far we have to travel to see and experience, you know, art and culture, I think having places here locally that are so robustly supporting the needs of the community in that regard is critical. And I think ALT has been doing that for 90 plus years. And it's amazing that we are, you know, blessed to have a place like ALT here. So.
Yeah, 100%. It's a gem. I think no matter how much we rave about it, it's still underrated here. There's just so much that this place has given me, my family, right? My wife, my daughter, my son. We are all big fans of this place. I know growing up, whenever I was younger, much younger, I would look at Amarillo Little Theater as like real theater. And what we did on little kind of troops as kind of just messing around, right? But this was where the serious actors were going. And once I became involved and you know, was invited into that family, I realized, yeah, we're still doing real theater. We were doing real theater in those tiny little troops, but man, they take it seriously here. And if you think about Amarillo Little Theater and community theater as a whole, and then you visit other communities and other regional theaters, there's just this mild difference between the work that we do here, the professionalism, the quality of the productions, and some of those that I've seen in other communities, right? And so I think no matter how much press and love and appreciation we get as an organization, I think Amarillo Little Theater is still vastly underappreciated and underutilized, right? Undervalued. So it's definitely the best part of my life outside of my family, right? It's my place that I love to go. As Vanessa said, I don't sleep often because I'm generally involved in some of these shows. So I'll keep coming as long as they keep having me.
Well, I agree with everything that you said, but I definitely appreciate you saying it, Hugh. We're very glad to have both of you part of the ALT family, and I'm so excited to see this show. I know this community is clearly very excited to see the show. Everything's sold out. Again, if you don't have your tickets, call the box office, get on the wait list, show up 30 minutes before the show begins and see if they can get you in. People turn in their seats all the time. Things come up, things happen. We will do everything we can to get you in. You are not going to want to miss this show. I am so grateful for the two of you to join me on your preview night. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you guys want to say before we head out?
No.
Said a lot.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground.
Hugh, get yourself a cat nap for the next.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Thank you guys for letting me
hydrate.
your nap time.
All right. Thank you, Annika.
Thank you guys so much. Again, guys, get your tickets. Get on the wait list. You can't get your tickets, but get on the wait list if you haven't already. Get your season tickets. And if you lose out on getting tickets like this, you don't have to worry about it because you can get your seats a week or two ahead of the general public. Get your season tickets. Sponsor your seat at the Alan Schenkel's main stage. Michelle says, see you guys later. They'll see you tonight at the show. Thanks again for your video. Trust me, you guys do not want to miss this. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, get on that wait list. Y'all have a great weekend, a very happy opening. And of course, we'll see everybody right back here next Thursday for Thursdays at 3. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, Annika.
Happy opening. Bye.
Thank you, Annika.
Bye.
See you.